Man, this is Deion Dawkins, man, and you're listening to The Scoop on OurScoop.com. You already know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Scoop, OurScoop.com's podcast, Season 8, Episode 53. I'm John DeCarlo, OurScoop.com's editor. Rymir Vaughn's with me today. I think this is going to be numerically probably the last episode of Season 8, and we'll flip it over to Season 9 next week. Got an interview with Jordan Magee and Yvandy Rigby, his fellow linebacker and roommate. You'll hear from those guys here on The Scoop as we're now less than a week away from Temple's first preseason camp practice. Next Wednesday, we got some mailbag questions for you, some basketball recruiting updates as well. A lot of good stuff ahead. As always, The Scoop is brought to you by Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers. If you have been injured while on the road or the highway and the crash was someone else's fault, the insurance company is not going to be on your side. You need us, Temple Law grads, who will fight hard to get the compensation that you deserve. We only get paid if we win. So in Pennsylvania or New York, call us today at 215-261-7359. It's 215-261-7359. And you can find them on the web at greenspans-law.com. That's greenspans-law.com. Rymir, since we last recorded, somebody had a birthday, did they not?
Yes, I did. Turned 23.
Happy belated birthday, buddy.
Thank you. It was fun. My friends got me a cake, and it's the first time I've ever been like surprised with a cake, because usually I'm the person getting the cake. But it felt really nice to be on the receiving end for once.
There you go. How many different people have said to you, "Happy Jordan year"? Is this your Jordan year, or do people not say that anymore?
None. Nobody has said.
I'm the first person to say it.
Yes. No, it has said. Everyone has just been like, "Happy birthday." Like, no one's been, "It's your Jordan year, it's your LeBron year." Nobody's made a sports reference to me, which is, I find, ridiculous. But
it is ridiculous. What else? Did you do anything fun? Any fun plans?
I was in New York 2 days before my birthday. It was crazy. The hotel was actually in Connecticut, so I had to drive past New York to stay at the hotel. And when we wanted to go out in New York, we had to drive an hour to New York. But it was cheap, so that's all I can really say.
Did Javon, Declan, Johnny, has anybody gotten you a gift or no?
Yes, Vaughn actually is taking me to an Orioles game.
There we go.
Sunday, me and Declan will be heading down there to watch them play. I think they play the Yankees Sunday.
I think so. Yeah.
Vaughn is treated to a Orioles baseball game.
There we go. That's good stuff. What do you have for famous number 53s? I told you before we started recording, my brain's kind of fried. I'm going to try not to Google stuff. I've got one. I think I have maybe two in my mind, but I'm obviously there are a lot. So what do you have?
The first person that came to my mind was Navarro Bowman.
Oh, that's good.
San Francisco linebacker. He had that nasty leg injury. Was it the NFC Championship game? It was one of them. It was a big game. I think
so. But yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that injury. It was really, really
I couldn't watch it.
Like dangling bad, right?
Yeah, I could not watch it at all. Oh. He's the only person I could think of, though. I know there's some Eagle. Nigel Bradham. He wore 53 on the Eagle Super Bowl team.
Thought of Nigel Bradham before Hugh Douglas.
Oh, listen, I didn't really get the chance to watch Hugh Douglas.
Remember that time you called me old? John, you can watch. Hugh. I mean, this is going to make me sound old too. I remember Bill Romanowski from the 49ers. I got nothing on baseball. I got nothing on NBA. Yeah, I just think, I don't know who's wearing 53 for the Eagles now. I don't even know. I know Sean Bradley. If we did episode 54 next week, just specifically to get Sean Bradley mentioned in there, we could say it's the Sean Bradley episode. But
I can't. Who wears 53? It's a special teamer, Christian Ellis. I think he wears 53.
Okay, all right. So we're a little short on 53s. Declan would get us some sort of NASCAR guy if he was here. So Javon would have somebody's NBA All-Star jersey. if he was sitting with us.
Christian Ellis is 53.
Okay, that's good. Good Eagles knowledge by you. At the outset of the show, like I said, promised you guys this interview with Jordan Magee and Yvandy Rigby. Say Jordan Magee, of course, a single-digit guy. Yvandy Rigby, of course, coming off a career best season, really turned the corner last year and was really solid part of a Temple defense that, like under DJ Elliott's scheme, was really aggressive, pretty good defense. Yvandy had 82 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks last year. So 2 pretty good players to talk to with preseason camp right around the corner. So a lot of good stuff here, a lot of cool anecdotal stuff that they shared with us. So we will play this interview for you now and have more for you on the other side of it. We're very excited to have Jordan Magee and Yvandy Rigby with us on the Scoop this week. Guys, thanks for doing this. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Can't complain.
I'm doing real good, man. Excited to be here.
Obviously, I would imagine that you get excited around this time of the year, but is there anything where it's like, oof, it feels like we just ended the season yesterday? Obviously, there are off-season workouts and all this stuff, but just with the physical toll and everything, do you guys ever feel like you're completely ready, or is there ever a part of you that's like, I could have used 1 or 2 more weeks of summer here to just get some rest?
I feel like Coach Drayton and the strength staff have been doing a great job giving us the rest we need and the right amount of workload to be successful throughout the season. So it's really never a feeling of like, all right, let me get 1 or 2 more weeks. It's really like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready for the season to come, and I'm ready for fall camp that's around the corner.
And how about you?
Just to elaborate on what Jordan has said, I feel like the strength staff has given us a good amount of time, to rest, and the schedule that we're working towards and all around, we fit into it has been a really good dynamic for us as a team. So I think, Drayton has come up with a really good plan, and we're just waiting to execute it this season.
Jordan, I wanted to ask you this. I mean, a lot of and you were down at Media Day this week down in Texas. And then, Stan Drayton was talking this week. A lot of the focus was about, 50 some new players that you guys have brought into the program. Now, in terms of single digit guys, as of now, and obviously there'll be more, it's you and Jalen as the 2 single digit guys on the team. And it's not to say that you guys don't have other leaders on the team. You're of course sitting next to one right now, but some of those guys have obviously, in terms of the new guys, they've had the chance to go through spring ball and stuff like that. But it's still a lot of turnover. And you were once in their shoes. What's going through their minds right now in terms of as they start preparing for their first week at camp? You've been there before. You guys have been there before. What's going through their mind right now?
It's probably some nerves running through their mind. But at the end of the day, you've been playing football your whole life, so it's something that you should feel comfortable with going in there. The main thing really is learning the playbook. Once you learn the playbook, you can let your athletic ability speak for itself. But that's all I have to say about that. Maybe Yvandy can speak on that some more.
Yeah, just to elaborate on what Jordan have said, coming in as a freshman, every freshman thinks that they're the guy because they're coming from their school and they're the guy, then you come to college and it's a wake-up call. You have other guys that have been performing for X amount of years, so you have to acquiesce to that and also adjust to that as well. Take the strength program really serious. If you want to play early, if you also want to be a big factor to the team, special team is very important. That plays a big role when you want to go to the league. So, we try to, Coach Drayton do a really good job of implementing that into the program and showing these younger cats that, like, hey, when you come here, you have to respect the elder and also you have to come and work. So I think the younger guys have been really working really hard. Spring, like you said, it's not football at its whole, but I feel like they did a really good job of, executing what they got to do.
Jordan, in your position, obviously the single digit tradition has been around for a long time and every coach has kind of put their own emphasis on it. And Stan talks a lot about just how much is asked of you guys. Now, I've always wondered about this because you're one of, I think there are like 103 total players on the roster between the scholarship guys and the walk-ons. And I know you're going into your 5th season. And again, like we said, a fair amount of guys on the roster, but because of what's asked of you as a single digit guy, I know you guys do off-season stuff and team bonding, but do you actually find yourself like literally like studying the roster sometimes and matching names and faces and looking at their bios and saying, hey, I want to make sure I can connect with this guy on this or that? Because a lot of people come to you and you guys wear names on your helmets for a reason. I'm sure it's not like 13 guys on a basketball roster. Do you literally have to like study the roster as a single digit guy to make sure that you're not caught off guard and you can connect with guys?
It's funny you say that because I actually have I think of myself as having like a photographic memory, so I can put a name to a face easily. So I really know. I really know everybody on the team. Ever since the early enrollees came in the spring, up to now with the new freshmen coming in from their high schools after graduating and stuff. So I just feel like, I really have a photographic memory, and I can really remember all the guys' names and stuff like that. What Coach Drayton wants me to do is just become a leader. Make sure the guys are bonding together because without family and trust, how you could go out there and go to war for your brothers. So just simple things like that will go a long way.
Yvandy, you had a good season last year, second leading tackler, had 5.5 TFLs, couple sacks, kind of like a breakout year for you. Yeah. What went right for you last year, and where can you get better this year?
What went right for me last year is that I was taking it all in at this moment. I noticed that my team needed me, and I had to step up. So I couldn't let them down. So I had to go learn my playbook, get in the playbook, get with the coach, watch extra film, with Jordan, just doing what is the little things, little things matter, and they would lead up to the big things. So I feel like I take it step at a time, and, my time was to shine and I execute. But as far as what I need to get better in for this year, like I said, there's never too much, like hard work is always, necessary. So you got to study the playbook, go really hard into it, sudden things into our plays, but nothing dramatic. So we just got to study that and be sharp. So next year we can just really play at a really high level as a defense.
You mentioned the playbook, and either one of you guys can answer this. You lost DJ Elliott to the Eagles this year. Everett Withers comes back as defensive coordinator. I know you can't really give away anything in the playbook, but has things changed, or has things really stayed the same? Like, does different terminology change? Where you're supposed to line up, the way he teaches, has things like that changed?
I would say nothing really has changed. Probably a little bit of terminology, adding a couple new calls, but it's really the same base defense that we had with DJ Elliott. And he bring a great defense in, and we're just gonna continue to run that and just switch up a couple of terminologies and calls and stuff like that.
You guys also led the conference in sacks. You had 38 sacks last year. You were 9th in the country in sacks per game. Yep. Obviously, is exciting, aggressive scheme.
Yep, yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. It's focused on getting to the quarterback fast, having the quarterback make fast decisions, and when the quarterback makes fast decisions, they're getting in their head sometimes, and we have the playmakers on defense to be able to run this type of defense. So Yvandy, Rigby, Leighton, Jordan, Trey Thomas was injured. We got Taiwan Francis coming in from Colorado State. That's gonna be a big piece in the owl position. Elijah Darvell playing safety, Alex Odom playing safety. Yep. We got a lot of playmakers back there, and I feel like it's gonna be a great season.
Would you call that your identity as far as being aggressive and attacking?
Yeah, definitely. It's Temple Tough. Temple Tough defense, man. We want to get after the quarterback. We want to make him have a bad day, and it's gonna affect his team.
I know you guys had a lot of departures in the front seven. Darian Varner left. Zach Gill graduated. Kobe Wilson also transferred. Yep. In the front seven specifically, is there anyone who didn't play a lot last year that you think can make a big impact this season?
Definitely Trey Thomas. He had got hurt during the Memphis game. He's an outside linebacker. He brought a lot of production before he got injured, and I feel like this really about to be a breakout year for him as well.
And we also got a new transfer from Florida, DeJuan Black, pretty promising doing spring practices and doing practice period. So really excited to have him to help us.
When you guys get transfers in, obviously a lot of people know about Temple. I haven't double checked the numbers, but it's typically you guys are the program that has that, like, out of all the group of 5 schools, the most guys or second most guys in the league. So, but when you get like a DeJuan Black who comes in, a couple of the guys from Florida coming in, and they come in from the SEC, is the respect already there, or are they sometimes pleasantly surprised by what they see with the campus and the program and the way you guys do things?
Yeah, that's one thing Coach Drayton does. You know, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. You know, you're walking into Temple University. It's in the middle of North Philly. You know, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be rough. But at the end of the day, you gotta come in and work, and you gotta earn the respect of the guys that's already been there.
So we got a few mailbag questions for you guys. The screen name here is Hoots a Lot. And this question's for you, Jordan. If this applies, how do you anticipate your role changing under a new defensive coordinator? And do you feel positioned within the new or altered scheme to have similar success compared to last season? I know you guys just talked about this. Base defense is pretty much the same, but with Everett, does he do anything like slightly differently? Again, I have a lot of respect for DJ. I thought he was a really good defensive coordinator, obviously goes on in the NFL, but are there any slight changes that Everett brings where you say, hey, that might open up another part of my game?
Yeah, definitely. Having certain blitz packages and things like that to cater to certain people will definitely help me or help other people showcase their skills that they have to offer. So, I don't believe it's too much that's changing, but just some base calls and base terminology.
What about you, Yvandy? Like you last year you had a really good season, really started to emerge. I'll kind of adapt this for you again, and for both of you guys, you can answer this. When you hear that DJ's leaving, I know a lot of guys have said, "Hey, we're happy for him. He's going to work for the defending NFC champions. He's heading down Broad Street. We're happy for him." But that's still your defensive coordinator who's leaving. For you specifically, what were you thinking at the time? Were you thinking like, man, I just had a really good season under this guy, and now he's leaving? Or did you guys know pretty quickly after that Everett was coming in and there'd be some stability?
No, absolutely. We know because Withers is going to come. He's going to come with a really good game plan as far as like putting everybody in the right position. Like Jordan said, we really didn't change as much. Just basic terminologies and, but football is still football. As far as DJ Elliott, we're extremely happy for him as an organization. And, he's really helpful towards us. He put us in the right position. We executed and played fast under his defense. Now we're just looking forward to, shining with Coach Withers in this defense.
Next mailbag question here comes from the screen named Temple Fan Al. I'm sure you guys will get this one a lot at Media Day next week. It's the classic preseason poll question. So you guys know you were picked 10th in the preseason media poll. So the question here is, do the players pay any attention to the preseason rankings? And if so, does it add fuel to the fire?
Oh yeah, we definitely paid attention to it. We seen it. I was the first one to see it. Me and EJ Warner was the first ones to see it, and me and EJ was talking. It was like, people got their opinions of what they think of us, but at the end of the day, we know what we do inside the EO. We know we got inside the EO, and that's all that matters. If we play for each other, I think we're unstoppable.
And just to add on to that, like I said, Coach Drayton said, family, and that's one thing that we all ride for. We don't really pay attention to the media as far as like where we're ranked. Just put the football down, let's play ball.
Yvandy, this one's for you. The screen name is Sunny Owl. What's the biggest change people can expect to see in your game this season?
Biggest change, I've been watching a lot of film, taking my time to really perfect my pass drops and all, et cetera. So expect a lot of interceptions and a lot of pass breakup.
Jordan, I wanted to ask you this too, and obviously you have still like a whole season of football ahead of you, but I don't know if this is something you do like when it's all over, but like, do you reflect at all? Because you're like so many of the good Temple players who came through this program. It kind of applies for both of you guys. You guys were both, you were recruited, but you didn't have 5-star rankings. You didn't have a ton of high major offers. I think you had Dell State and Morgan State, right?
Dell State, Morgan State, yep.
Yeah, and then I think, in my humble opinion, I think guys in Delaware get overlooked sometimes too. And you played quarterback and safety. You also played basketball. And so here you are now. You're a very good linebacker coming off your best season. You probably have a chance to potentially play at the next level. When you look back to when you first came to Temple, I know everybody wants to do well, but did you see football taking you this far, or were you kind of just coming in saying like, all right, I'm just going to see what happens here? Or did you kind of know you'd have a chance to be this good?
Yeah, I definitely knew I had a chance to be this good. At the end of the day, I'm playing football. It's something I love to do. So when I stop having fun with it, that's when I'm going to stop playing football. But right now, I continue to love football. I'm going to continue to play football until the ball stops, until I can't run no more, But yeah, other than that, I would say it's definitely gonna be a good season.
Yvandy, I wanted to ask you, you have a really cool story, and maybe not everybody knows about this. You were born in Turks and Caicos, and you had only played football for a couple of years before you committed to Temple. And in my newspaper days, I covered the Cape Atlantic League, so I know you played down at Egg Harbor Township in South Jersey, then you prepped at Milford for a year. But again, you've turned this into a pretty good college career for yourself, and you still have time ahead of you. Tell us your story. Like, when did you come to the States, and how did you get introduced to football?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny story. So I came to America 8 years ago. I'd say 2014, roughly. Enrolled in Atlantic City. Went there for, I would say, a semester. I mean, and then while I was in my guidance counselor office, because I didn't know much, I'm still adjusting to the culture. The starting quarterback of that team walked in there, and he saw me. He saw, oh, okay, this kid have decent size. Let me check him out. He was talking to me, and he was like, yeah, you should come try out for the team. I'm like, I don't have no football background. I haven't played football in my life. He's like, nah, you're pretty decent size. You should come try it out. So, me, wanting to try out new things, first time in America. So actually, I went to the head coach and I applied for the team. And he's like, yeah, just come out for practice. You'll be on the freshman team and, just come out these days and, just show us what you got. So came out, didn't know how to catch a football. So the first football thrown at me, it hit me right in the face. I didn't know how to catch it. So, so I hopped on YouTube and I'm like, yeah, I gotta get right. I gotta learn how to play this game if I really want to go to the next level. Because when I set my mind on something, I feel like I gotta perfect it. So, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos after school, like when we were just weightlifting. When it was off season, I would just go on the field and just practice and practice and practice. At the moment, I was playing wide receiver and DB. I wanted to perfect that skill. So, over time, just continue practicing. And I transferred to Egg Harbor Township my sophomore year. And then I was introduced to Kevin Stetzer. That's who I currently live with right now. And, he took me under my wing. He also saw potential into me, and he would, and that's when we went on the football journey. So I played football my sophomore year, but I couldn't play for real because of my religion, Seventh-day Adventist. That was a whole, orchestra, but I had to go to the pastor, get a blessing, and then that's when I actually started playing my junior year. For real, I took football serious my junior year, but I was perfecting my craft that entire season. That entire time I couldn't play football my sophomore year. So my junior year I played, and my senior year, and then I also went to Milford, like you said. And then I finally committed to Temple, and I've been here ever since.
That's incredible, man. That's really cool. A lot of those programs in the Cape are rivals. Did you ever get feedback from the staff at Atlantic City and saying like, man, I wish we would have kept you around. Wish we would have tried to convince you to stay.
I still, Coach Dink, we still stay in contact. He's a really good friend of mine. He always tell me like, damn, man, we miss you, man, and we should have kept you. We still stay in contact. They're pretty good guys, and they have a pretty good program going already.
When did you start to realize, hey, I could be pretty good? Maybe like you play that post-grad year at Milford, that's like gearing up for college, but maybe like at any of your days at EHT, was there like a game or a practice or even like a piece of feedback that you got from a coach? Not long ago, I was the guy who had the football hit me in the face, and now I could be a D1 player. When did it dawn on you that like you could be pretty good at this?
I would say it dawned on me my junior year. I was playing Isiah Pacheco.
From Vineland.
Yeah, Vineland.
Yeah.
He broke a pretty big run. He's a good running back. He broke and I hawked him from, I would say, 15 yards apart. I caught him, man.
Wow.
And I saw it on film, and it looked pretty, it looked really nice. So then I'm like, yeah, I could take this to the next level, because he was also a next level guy too.
You watch him on TV now when he's with the Chiefs and say, I can chase that guy down.
Yeah, that's nice.
For either one of you guys, is there a redshirt freshman on either side of the ball who has stood out to you guys at all?
I'm trying to think. A couple of redshirt freshmen. Definitely two that stick out to me is our linebackers, London. Our two redshirt linebackers, London and Corey. They're under our wing right now, so they're learning. They're learning everything about the position. Just honing in on their skills. But I really feel like when it's their time when their time comes, I feel like they're gonna make a big impact here, and they're gonna leave being better than us.
And just to elaborate on that, I have three guys: Sam Martin, and also two guys he also mentioned, Corey and London. These three guys, I feel like they've been doing a really good job of hitting the playbook. been perfecting their craft, getting with their coaches, and really been getting with us too, to pick our brains to see, hey, what do you see, what do you this, just perfecting their craft overall. So I'm very excited to see them guys play next year.
I wanted to ask both of you guys about EJ Warner. Jordan, you were just with him down at Media Day, and he just seems like a different kind of dude. Like he definitely doesn't seem to be, when he comes to Temple, people are like, oh, that's Kurt Warner's kid. But he doesn't bring it up. Like, it's like if you ask him a question, he'll talk about his dad, but he doesn't walk around like name dropping him. And even like sometimes I see him on campus and he looks like he's all business. He's walking around. He doesn't look for crowds. And we always hear like he's in the building constantly watching film. We saw he can play last year, gives you guys a lot of hope at that position. What's he like off the field? Because everybody just says he's a film rat. He's in there constantly. But what is he like?
So it's actually funny. I was just with him at the AAC Media Day, I had the room with him. So this is really my first time hanging out with EJ, like just us two. It was good talking to him. I'm learning about his life story and stuff like that. It was really great. He definitely doesn't talk about he talks about his dad, but he doesn't talk about his dad like, oh yeah, Kurt Warner, my dad. He just talks about like if he's asked a question about him, he'll answer it. Like he had a question at the AAC Media Day. He was like, how's it on ESPN? He was like, how's it being the son of a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback? He's like, yeah, it's great. Having to grow up with him for 19 years and him teaching me everything that he knows about the game is just gonna rub off on me. So EJ's a character. He's definitely a character outside of football, but he's definitely a film rat. Like he's in EO literally from whenever he has to lift till 8, 9, 10 at night, literally watching film. He'll watch film for 7 hours. I kid you not. Like I literally walked in on him watching film, just in front of his screen, just looking at it, just getting reads, and he scouts his opponents like weeks in advance. Like he's probably already have like a game plan for every team in his mind. So that's definitely what separates him from other QBs in the league and around the conference.
And for both of you guys, obviously, Dewan's transitioned over to wide receiver, and he's really putting a lot of energy into it. When Stan and Danny made the switch to EJ, I mean, obviously, you guys practice with him, you're in the same program, but did you guys know he could come in and make an instant impact like that? Or was it just one of those things you kind of had to see it to believe it once he got on the field?
Definitely. So Dewan was getting the first team reps, of course, during fall camp. But EJ was the number 2 quarterback, and we always would say like, yeah, EJ got an arm. EJ throwing it like he's really like one of them guys. So it wasn't a surprise when he finally got his chance to start, and he did his thing, and he ended up getting first team freshman All-American, and I could testify like that. He deserves it because he puts in the work.
And just to add on to that, Dewan, he's also a pretty heartbreaking quarterback. He took this craft pretty serious, but EJ came in, he was relaxed, more poised in certain pressure situations, so we felt like he was the best. Coach Drayton and the staff thought he was the best choice to go with, and he came in and he played really good, and he went freshman All-American, like Jordan said.
Jordan, obviously, you're a single digit. You got the 6 around your neck right now. I want to hear from you. What does it really mean, and what does it take to be a single digit?
What does it mean to me? It means to basically uphold this university to its greatest honor. What it means to me, I would say, it's definitely like surreal when you look back on it. I was 51 at first, 23, then 6. It's been a journey since getting single digit, but it's definitely surreal to have guys to have your peers look up to you as a leader, as a mentor, as somebody they can come talk to either about film, about life, just holding the legacy of the single digits, the past single digits, Sean Bradley, Chappelle Russell, guys like that, Sam Franklin, I talk to them frequently. And we have conversations about how this is your team. You should take control of this team. This is the year for y'all, things like that. And I really feel like I'm really appreciative of the fact that they look at me like that. My peers, Coach Drayton, all the guys, and I'm very excited for the season to come up.
Is there anyone who you think has turned that corner into that single-digit conversation?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a lot of guys. Edward Sadie, of course. EJ Warner. EJ Warner is probably the biggest name, people, because he's definitely made a jump from his freshman year to now. Like he's taken control over the offense. Like he's having meetings with the offense every day, and I feel like that's really good payoff for him. Yvandy Rigby, great guy, does everything right, football wise. DMR, of course. Yeah, so it's a couple of guys that should be on the lookout for the single digits. So
I wanted to ask you guys about Ed. Now, you guys all three of you are roommates, right?
Yeah.
So you know him on the field and off the field. He had that great game against USF last year, and you guys struggled to run the ball, and that's not just on the backs. It's on everybody. It's on the line, and he's coming back, and he's still experienced. And I wanted to ask you guys about what you've seen from him, and also how he's responded to additional competition in that room. You guys have a couple of really good freshman backs coming in. I know you guys are excited about Kyle Williams. We saw what he could do in the spring. Jaquez Smith, EJ Wilson, transfer. What have you guys seen from Ed? And what he's capable of. How do you think he's going to do this year? And how do you think he's responded to the added competition in the room?
Me personally, what I think Eddie's been doing a really good job of, perfecting his craft as far as going to the field, going through his progressions, his steps, because, it's muscle memory you got to build when you're playing running back, and then let your instincts go wild when you hit the secondary. He's been doing a really good job of competing. Obviously, like you said, there's really been really good running backs like Kyle, EJ Warner. Those guys are really good addition to the running back room. But I really think Eddie's been really good at, go and watch film. He's been asking us as linebackers, like, hey, what do you see here? Like, if I go here, like, what are you going to do? What's your initial moves? What's your initial read? Just picking our brains. And I feel like he's been really taking advantage of that, of us being his roommate, So I'm just really excited for him for next year. And I really think he's going to excel in his game. He's going to take it really far. So we're counting on that.
Who's the funniest of the three in terms of you guys as roommates? Is there like a you?
I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah, it's probably Yvandy. Yeah. He's probably the funniest.
What's the dynamic like when you guys get to live with each other and relate to each other, hold each other accountable? If someone's having a good day, a bad day, you guys go home knowing that you have your friends around you. What's that dynamic like Temple fans know who you are, but as roommates, what's the dynamic like for you guys? It sounds like you guys, obviously, you're smiling. It sounds like you guys get together and get along pretty well.
Nah, these guys are my brother, man. They've met my family personally. We go to each other's houses. We have dinner with each other's family. These guys I consider my brother, man. And, on and off the field, we hold each other accountable. But it's extremely competitive. Yeah. We compete in everything. Uno, everything. Basketball.
Uno.
Yeah, these guys can't play soccer, but we're dribbling a soccer ball so we can do it better, I
don't feel so old anymore. I didn't think people still played Uno. That's good.
Now we still get down with Uno. So, these guys, man, they're like family to me, man.
Yeah, so. Same. Piggybacking on what Yvandy said, it's extremely competitive in here. But I knew these guys ever since I came in, and these are my brothers, and these kids, they're gonna be my brothers for the long run. So
these are guys I'm gonna invite to my wedding. They're like family right now. I love these guys.
Very cool. One last question for you guys, and I know it's a 1 week at a time game, but you do have 3 new teams on your schedule this year with all the new teams coming in. UTSA, they were really good last year. You got North Texas, UAB. I'm assuming, I know the focus is probably about it's stacking days, 1 day at a time, probably not looking much past Akron, and especially once you guys get into the install with that. But is there the part of you as a player that's kind of curious and you look ahead and say, like, okay, well, I'm going to want to check out what UTSA is about, North Texas and UAB, because you have, Cincy and those teams leaving. Are you curious about those teams? Do you ever find yourself looking ahead or just like Googling their rosters and looking at what they're about? Or do you really just stay disciplined on like, I am not looking past Akron?
It's not that I'm not looking past Akron. Like I'm definitely game planning for Akron right now. We started already looking at Akron a little bit. But like sometimes you'll just go like search up a game, UTSA versus somebody, and just watch the game and see what they have. But definitely our main focus is Akron, most definitely.
And just to elaborate on that, I never really. It wasn't intentional. I remember when UTSA played Memphis last year.
Mm-hmm.
and we were watching the Memphis film, so just get that. We got a pretty good glimpse of what they got going on over there as an organization. Me personally, that's what I took from it, because when I watch film, I look at both teams, and then I obviously pick out the weak points of my opponent. But so that was pretty much it. But as far as that, we just pay attention to acting and 1 week at a time. We're pretty much disciplined on that. Coach Drayton philosophies elaborated that, so that's pretty much what we're stuck on.
Thanks for spending some time with us, guys. We appreciate it. I know you guys are busy. We'll let you go. We'll certainly see you around and covering preseason camp. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks, guys. Thank you for having us.
Amir, what did you think?
It was very good, first off. I think both of them gave a lot of information that you wouldn't have known otherwise. For Yvandy in particular, his story about how, 8 years ago, he couldn't catch a football.
Yeah, the football hit him in the face. Yeah.
Now he's a second leading tackler at a Division I program. He's come a long way.
Yeah. And then again, we asked Amir, you asked him about, they're going to get asked a lot, who are the other single digit guys? Who are guys that are worthy of single digits? And so, because right now it's Jalen McMurray, Jordan Magee. Be interesting to if EJ gets it, would he give up his number 13 that his father wore? But yeah, a lot of cool stuff there about EJ, what he's like off the field, what their relationship was like off the field. Those guys, his roommates with Rigby and Magee and Ed Sadie. We're going to try to get Ed today. We'll talk to him next week at Football Media Day, and the competition that he's going to face in the backfield with Jaquez Smith, Kyle Williams, and EJ Wilson coming into the fold. But yeah, some great stuff from those guys. And again, we're going to have a lot more coverage ahead for you guys. As I mentioned, Temple's first preseason camp practice is next Wednesday. In terms of what you all can expect with our coverage, the team's media day is next Tuesday, and we'll talk to Stan Drayton, and then 6 players doing press conferences in person down at Edberg Olson Hall. And then on Thursday, we'll talk to the coordinators on Zoom following practice. So that means we get to hear from Danny Langsdorf, the offensive coordinator, and Everett Withers, the defensive coordinator. You heard those guys talking in the interview about Everett Withers and what it meant to have that stability there with him coming back into the fold when DJ Elliott left, go to the Eagles. So we've got some basketball recruiting updates and coverage for you guys. Again, if you're an owlscoop.com subscriber, you've had the chance, or if you haven't, I would strongly recommend reading Declan's story on Keyshawn Tillery. Owlscoop subscribers can check that out. Is a point guard from New Hampshire, one of several players Temple is recruiting and offered in the 2025 class. He's from the New Hampton School, plays for the City Rocks AAU program up in New York. And then, of course, last week, really starting to check guys off the list. Local guys, 2025 class players. Max talked to Kai Shinholster, who's a Penn Charter. And then, Mary, you talked to Cam Wallace at West Town. Again, 2 more Temple recruiting targets. I would encourage everybody to check out those stories. I think we've been saying for a while now, we'll see. I think they're going to be a little bit more portal heavy in 2024 and a little, hitting high schools a little bit harder in 2025. And we'll have some more stuff ahead for you guys as well. So definitely check out those stories if you missed them. If you're following along the basketball tournament, the TBT, if you're following the Broad Street Birds and the Big 5 teams, both of them unfortunately bowed out in the first round. Khalif Wyatt's Big 5 TBT team really had the defending champs, Blue Collar U, had them on the ropes Monday. They were ahead by 13 at one point, and then by 10 when the Elam ending was set, but they lost 78-77. That was the largest Elam ending comeback the TBT has seen. And then the Broad Street Birds lost the Beale Street Boys. That was, of course, a team made up of mostly Memphis alums. They lost 73-67. Jason Thompson, we've been telling you, former NBA big man, South Jersey guy, couldn't play in that game due to an eye injury, and I think that really hurt them in the paint. Quentin Rose, former Temple guard or wing, had 21 points in that game. So one and dones for the TBT teams with Temple ties. We'll close this out. We have one more mailbag question here for us as a staff, and the mailbag here, it's from the screen name Rockland Owl. To the Owl Scoop staff, what are your thoughts regarding Temple's decision to focus on scheduling competitive programs in future years, as demonstrated by the announcement of the Utah State series instead of scheduling FCS teams? I think it just comes down to their budget, really. I mean, I'm just getting the sense from people I've talked to that as of now, bye games aren't really going to be a thing. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Yes, Stan Drayton and the players and the administration here are probably going to say, yeah, we want to schedule competitive programs. And look, I mean, Utah State has definitely been pretty good over the last few years. I think when that was first announced and the story broke, people thought, okay, maybe that's kind of an odd fit. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see over the next few years really like too many bye games. I don't know if Arthur Johnson will come out and say that, if Stan Drayton will come out and say it, but I think it has just as much to do with their budget as much as anything else. Ramir, I'm going to miss the first week of preseason camp. I'm going to be on vacation next week, but first week of preseason camp, the game, this program. Talked last week about, I think, a newcomer on each side of the ball that we're looking forward to. Beyond like the obvious stuff, give me something that you're curious about next week. We heard Jordan and Yvandy talk about some of the guys that they're excited about seeing, some of the redshirt freshmen stuff. But is there a guy that you're looking forward to talking to or hearing about more, a guy like that could be an impact player on either side of the ball?
Off the top of my head, Taiwan Francis, because he was everywhere in the spring game, whether it was zone coverage, man coverage, getting downhill and tackling ball carriers. He was everywhere. And I want to see more of that, specifically because I don't think last year they had a tone setter on the defense. Yeah. And just based off of that one little preseason game, I guess you could call it, because I've equated it to a preseason game before. Based off of that, he seems like a tone setter. And they need that this year. Like, nothing against, Jordan or Leighton Jordan or Jordan Magee, those guys. But I don't think they had a guy who was going to come down, hit you in the mouth.
So you're talking about like a tone setter in terms of like a guy that really was physical out of the secondary.
Yes.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, they talked about, again, obviously, if you're a Temple football fan and you know a lot about this program, you know about him, one of 2 Colorado State transfers. But yeah, and their voices kind of picked up, Yvandy and Jordan, when we were asking them, or you asked them that question, they weren't, they didn't go too long without mentioning his name. So like I said, we're going to have a lot more coverage coming your way in the next several weeks leading up to the season opener. But again, preseason camp kicks off next week. Again, we'll have coverage from Media Day and talking to the coordinators, Danny Langsdorf and Everett Withers, next week. And we'll go from there. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate you listening to another episode. Again, a happy belated birthday to Ramir Vaughn. 23 years old, whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be 23?
It don't feel different. It don't feel no different. It's just another number on the.
Are you glad that I'm ending this podcast with like a real cliche question? How does it feel to be 23? It's like, thanks, John. Really exciting stuff there, buddy.
Hey, you got to ask the obvious questions.
All right. Thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.